Let's begin in a comfortable seat, an easy seat. Before you close down your eyes, let's take a look around. Maybe finding some cues of safety. Maybe your sweet little daughter, maybe your cozy pillows, your books. And then starting to orient back inside, closing down those eyes and starting to bring some attention to the way your breath is flowing in and out. Any sensations you're bringing to the party, any emotions that are with us here. In our centering practice on Monday, we talked about Amber liked it. I can never remember exactly what I say, but it was something about embracing the wise woman that's in all of us and how the wise woman doesn't suppress, but she allows. So, whatever it is that you're noticing, trying to open to it, and maybe that even happens a little physically. Maybe you sit up a little taller, maybe you shine that heart forward, spreading those shoulders wide, like starting with physicality of openness, maybe opening your fingertips, palms to the sky, and then seeing if you can notice more of like a felt sense of openness inside. Maybe your breath deepens, maybe your jaw relaxes with that deepening of breath. We start our practice in this way of calming and stillness and going inside because we've all been a lot of places today. We've probably talked to a lot of people and we've thought a lot of thoughts. And that's all good. That all means we're human and we're living in the world. But now is our time to come back to spaciousness, come back to a place of really intentional noticing. See if you can get heavier into the earth, really feeling those sit bones start to spread and melt. Relaxing that belly. Maybe swallowing a couple times, starting to open up that throat. And continuing in this excavation of your internal world, well, I just am going to start us with a reading. So continue to relax and soften and allow whatever rises, even if there is a tightening, allowing there to be a tightening, and then seeing if you can bring a softness there with love, without judgment. This is a reading by Rosemary Traumer called Because. So I can't save the world, can't save even myself, can't wrap my arms around every frightened child, can't foster peace among nations, can't bring love to all who feel unlovable. So I practice opening my heart right here in this room and being gentle with my insufficiency. I practice walking down the street heart first. And if it is insufficient to share love, I will practice loving anyway. I want to converse about truth, about trust. I want to invite compassion into every interaction. One willing heart can't stop a war. One willing heart can't feed all the hungry. And sometimes, daunted by a task too big, I tell myself, what's the use of trying? But today, the invitation is clear to be ridiculously courageous in love, to open the heart like a lilac in May, knowing freeze is possible and opening anyway, to take love seriously, to give love wildly, to race up to the world as if I were a puppy, adoring and unjaded, stumbling on my own exuberance, to feel the shock of indifference, of anger, of cruelty, of fear, and stay open. To love as if it matters, as if the world depends on it. Taking a big inhale, holding at the top, and then exhaling and emptying everything out. Inhaling big, suspending at the top as you find a place to soften, and then exhaling and emptying it all out. Again. One more time. Mm. Gently blinking your eyes open and starting with some of our body rolls. Inhaling forward and exhaling to round. Moving at your own pace. Falling into a rhythm with your breath. Maybe letting your head get really involved. So starting to roll that neck. Really awakening that cerebral fluid. And when you're ready, switching sides, switching directions. And returning to stillness when you feel complete. Noticing how you can be so still in your body, but inside so alive, so much movement, so much just aliveness. Sort of representing how things can be chaotic and There can be a lot of things that could pull you into reactivity, but you always have the option, the choice of the sacred pause of this stillness, of returning to the breath, even in just a full cycle of breath, an inhale and an exhale, that is pausing, rolling down nice and easy onto your back, and coming into a butterfly, soles of the feet pressing into each other, knees dropping open. Hands at your sides, or perhaps one on the heart and one on the belly. Option always to place any sort of props, blankets, or pillows underneath your knees if letting them fall in gravity isn't serving you today. Scanning your body for any places where you're holding yourself up or holding yourself taut, and seeing if you can allow that trust in the earth, who has not forsaken us, though we don't always treat her in love. The gift you can give to those tight pockets is your breath. On your next inhales, letting your belly really fill up. And then on your exhales, maybe giving voice to your breath with a sigh or a hum. Both are tools you can use anytime throughout your day to bring your system back to some regulation, some homeostasis. It seems like I've been a little battered this week, and I think maybe you feel similarly. A lot of people I love who I've spoken to are feeling that this week, and I just want to ensure that our intention here is to meet that exhaustion or that anger or that just deluge of thoughts and worries and anxieties, that our intention is to meet it with the utmost tenderness, that the revolution is in loving ourselves enough to not hurt ourselves or injure ourselves or others. So here we are in our yin yoga revolution. One more full, rotund inhale, and then a really emptying out exhale. Bringing your knees slowly together and pausing here with feet flat to the earth, knees and ankle bones touching, and maybe just exploring some pelvic tilt. So laying that sacrum, that lower back flat onto the earth. That might feel like a little pressing down. And then just letting your body release to its natural arch. And just moving through that if it feels good, or remaining in stillness. Sometimes it's the most subtle movements that can make the biggest impacts to our nervous system. And bringing both knees into the chest, wrapping those hands, if you can reach them, around the knees or the shins, or just holding on to the tops of your knees with the palms of your hands, trusting what feels good in your body is the right thing. And then beginning to do some circles. So opening those knees like a book, bringing them down toward your, the bottom of your mat, and then folding back together. Just some circles, some external rotations with the hips. And switching the direction when you're ready. So it's more of this internal. You can look at me if you need, but trust your body knows. And returning to stillness. Just gently hugging knees into chest. Maybe finding a gentle rock side to side on your back body. When I think of tenderness or a lot of these really big, important concepts, sometimes they sort of lose all meaning, like they're just a word now. And so I have to bring an image to it or a memory or something more concrete. And so when I think of tenderness, I think of my grandmother, like my grandmother's hands. She used to stroke my arm to fall asleep at night. And so I wonder if, in this concept of meeting ourselves in tenderness, you could take these next few breaths to trust what comes first into your heart. Something you could return to in your days. And maybe it's just your own self, your hands, your adult self hugging your child self. We're gonna meet in a seat. You can do this by coming into a fetal position and gently making your way up. Or you could rock and roll on the length of your spine a couple of times to get to your seat. We're gonna practice our robin's breath. Absolutely no rush. Again, just finding our easy seat. And our robin's breath is an inhale, bringing our wings forward. And then an exhale to open and spread them wide. This can also look like hands on the shoulders. See what feels good today. And then resting in stillness, maybe dropping chin to chest. Some head rolls in one direction. Really taking your time to feel each position of the neck. And reversing directions. Mm. And meeting me in deer pose, right leg in front, left leg in back. Loosely, your front shin is running parallel to the top of your mat, though this doesn't have to be perfect. Both knees are bent. And And you're going to walk both hands over to your right in a simple, gentle twist. Twisting from the navel center, bringing your awareness to just below your belly button where we find our balance, find our truth. Maybe dropping down to elbows if that feels good. You can rest your head in a stacked fists or on a pillow or your bolster. But wherever you are, finding that stillness and that ability to soften. Raising back up onto those hands, slowly twisting back to center. And then continuing over to the left, lifting the knees, both feet plant, and just exploring some seated cat-cows. So rounding in and then shining that heart forward and continuing at your own pace. Part of that tenderness is about listening to what you need and then honoring that. So if the pace you need is super slow today, that's what you need. If the pace is actually, I need to be a little energized, then you can give that with your breath, like on the inhale, forward, and on the exhale, back, inhale, exhale. So just listen and oblige. And when you feel complete, hands come behind you, and you'll drop the knees to the left, and then the knees to the right. Some windshield wipers here. And the next time your knees drop to the right, coming back to the front of your mat, leaving that right leg as it is, almost like it was in the deer, and then straightening out the back leg and really like exploring stretching the toes more and more toward the back of your mat. We know this is pigeon pose. If this isn't for you today, deer is a beautiful place to stay with both knees bent. You're welcome to stay upright if this feels relaxing, or you can begin to fold forward and you can fold on a pillow or your bolster. We're going to be in our pigeon for 5 whole minutes. So I encourage you to take the time to get comfortable, get to about 70% of your edge, which is not a sensation that holds and that makes you count the minutes, but rather a sensation that feels like you can bring some breath around and some opening to. You can adjust this at any time. time in these poses at 70%, edge allows our fascia to orient to safety. And safety allows our fascia to begin to let go. Our fascia is protective in a beautiful way, but at some point, if it's holding something we're ready to let go, that can just be the next level of your journey toward openness and ease and peace. We've been here now for a couple of minutes, so now is a good time to ask yourself if you're grinning and bearing this, which is not the intention. So pull back a little or add a prop under your right hip or in the front of your left hip or both. And then return to stillness. If your mind is racing, that's okay. It's a good sign. It means you're a human being. So be kind to yourself. Trying to still our thoughts in an unkind way will probably just make them spin up even more. So let's meet them where they are. In the noticing of the racing, that is your meditation. You're doing it. Just notice. Meet him like a friend. Oh, you sweet little thought. I can't believe we're still thinking about you. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. How interesting. We're here for 5 more deep, full breaths. Maybe give voice to your exhale. Ah. Ah. And when you're ready, slowly unfurling. Maybe coming into tight ball, resting, resting your forehead on your knees and finding a rock. Meeting me in deer on the other side, left shin parallel to the top of the mat, right leg bending back behind you. No rush at all. If you feel any sensitivity in your knee, you can, of course, pad underneath it or begin to flex the foot. That can relieve some of that. Walking both hands over to the left, feeling that twist from the navel. Staying here, coming down onto your elbows for a bit of a deeper expression. Maybe breathing into the front of that right hip. And coming back up, unwinding to the front, and then continuing to move all the way around, planting those feet, dropping both knees to the left. Maybe looking over that right shoulder. So lower body and upper body are pulling in different directions, bringing some spaciousness to the midline. And switching knees to the right, looking over that left. Mm. And back to center, or you can continue to move through a couple more of those if they were feeling good. We're going to meet in caterpillar, both legs out straight in front of you. Great place to use your prop underneath your knees. Anything just to bring the legs closer to you, bring the floor closer. And you're going to begin with a elongated spine, really erect. Taking that word back. And then you can begin to walk forward and round. These forward folds are really good for dropping us into our parasympathetic nervous system. So find your way to relax here. Relaxing the neck and the head. If you need an extra pillow on your knees, that's a great option. Relaxing your feet. Even letting those feet fall open if that feels good. We'll be here for 2 more minutes. So finding that edge and then that stillness. Mm. Sending your breath out the back body, really feeling how the inhale expands and makes your back body big and spacious. It's about halfway. So if you'd like to deepen your edge, you're welcome to, or pull back. Really, really slowly rolling up, head last. And take a moment to notice. Left shin back to the front, right leg elongates behind, maybe wiggling those toes or at the back of your mat, really stretching that long. Option to use props everywhere, anywhere. Option to stay in deer with two bent knees. And finding where you want to spend your time here, either upright or bowing forward. We'll be here for 4.5 more minutes. We're gonna do some balanced breathing together here. If this doesn't feel good to you today, just let it go and continue with your natural breath. We're gonna inhale for 8, hold at the top for 4, exhale for 8, and hold at the bottom for 4. So take one more inhale and exhale, letting it all go, and then we'll begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold, 2, 3, 4, and inhale. And just keep going. And when you hold for 4 at the top and bottom, really paying attention to if you're suspending that breath and tensing your body, or if you can suspend that breath and soften.
Relaxing those face muscles and that jaw, and letting the breath be easeful, like it's the most natural thing because it is. And slowly rolling up and finding your way to feet planted in a tight ball, and give yourself some time in stillness or to rock back and forth. And when you're ready, meeting me on your back. Right leg stretches out long on the mat in front of you, bringing left knee toward your center chest, hands clasped over that shin or right below the knee, and just gently pressing down and toward your face. This pose is really good for our digestive tract. And our psoas, creating this deep fold and compression in that hip, and seeing if while we're here you can let something unhook or unhinge. And now letting that left hip open, sort of dropping it more toward the armpit. I'm just holding mine in my left hand now, right hand on my belly, and still pulling gently toward you. Mm. And back to center chest. Right hand on the outside of left knee, left arm opens to a T at your side. And then that left knee crosses over to the right, coming into a twist. Option to place bolster or pillows underneath that left leg, bringing the floor closer to you. Option to bend into the right leg and catch your foot with your left hand. The goal here is tenderness, and the pathway to tenderness is trusting what feels good, trusting what you need. Option two, extend right leg out straight, maybe catching big toe with your right hand. Tenderness can also be trying and then pulling back or returning. Relax those glutes. Relax that neck. Let it fall where it may. Let it rest. Shoulder blades melt into the earth. And meet me back on your back, extending left leg out long. Right knee comes towards center chest. Hmm. Let's do our Brahmari breath while we're here in wind removing pose. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose with a humming sound at your own time. Mm. 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 And opening that hip, letting it sort of fall into that right hand, left hand resting on the belly. Continuing your Brahmari breath. Mm. Mm. Back to center chest and crossing over your body to find your twist on the other side. and finding any expression here. Notice if the body is telling you if anything is too much. That may come in a gripping or in a deep fatigue. Let your sacrum soften, your shoulders, your toes, your fingers, your lips. Where else can you notice needs your tenderness? One more of your fullest breaths of the day. And meet me on your back, both knees into chest, and find a gentle rock back and forth. Eventually, coming into your final resting pose and really listening to what that looks like for you today, what that feels like for you today. It could be curling up on your couch. It could be hugging a pillow between your knees. It could be putting a pillow under your head in our traditional corpse pose. Wherever you are, let it feel like you are giving yourself a gift. We're gonna conclude our practice in Shavasana. I encourage you, if you can, to stay here as long as feels good. Maybe even drift off into a dream. The tenderness in me sees and honors the tenderness in all of you. Namaste.